Morning. I proclaim I'm going to do a Facebook Live here under 5 minutes. Yeah. It's a little bit of the Eggelton Presenting Methodology, but the point here is, while most presenters are striving, or most coaches are wanting their speakers, their clients to become authentic speakers, authenticity is merely a baseline. It's merely the baseline where we begin. Everything else is laid upon that. There's two major things that don't happen if you aren't able to connect with your true self, or truly understand what just be you really means, or understand what authenticity really means when you're presenting. There's two things that you cannot achieve without that true connection to yourself. Number one. See? One figure. Number one. You cannot get into the heart brain and work in this impressive, and you cannot work with this consciousness. You can't work in the heart brain if you are not playing as much in your authentic self as possible. If that is not happening, you are wearing a mask. You are indicating to your audience how you want to be perceived, be it kind, be it caring, be it excitable, being it trustworthy. Whatever it is, you will not get into your heart brain. You will not drop out of your head into your heart until you have that baseline of authenticity happening. This consciousness needs to go unblocked. You need to be in a place where perhaps God can work through you, or you become that conduit for infinite wisdom. You need to be open to uncertainty. You have to be open to the words you're discovering in your heart brain, matching the frequency of your greatness. You get to choose them. You get to choose the words that leave your lips. And if you are concerned, if you are in your head, if you are overthinking, you're not in your authentic self. A good way to understand or to recognize if you're playing in your authentic self, there's a lot, but here's just one to be able to recognize it, is in any given moment we have thousands of subtleties, nuances, happening in our face, in our facial expressions in any given moment. When we are not in our authentic selves, we really kind of have one look going on. For most speakers at the beginning, it's this fake smile. And for many, when they move into trying to indicate to the audience how they're feeling, this is the mood I'm trying to portray now. Nothing is authentic. It's indicating. I'm trying to show you how I'm feeling. I want you to see how I'm feeling. So I need to show you. Which leads me to number two. If the baseline where we start, so remember the Eggelton Presenting Methodology starts with step one, no change of state. It is the greatest step that I know of to help someone just be you. So number one, we can't get into our heart brain. Let's remember that. Number two is the heart brain consciousness is where most of the connection comes from. When we are presenting, when we are speaking on stage, or when we are live. When we are using that baseline of authenticity, when you understand what just be you really means. And remember, in Austin, Texas, I will be doing this. I'll be using horses at a ranch just out of Austin to help you really understand this, because they will reflect back to you with no care in the world exactly how you're being. That deep connection can only come when you have learned to connect with yourself. that deep connection to everybody else in that room so you can get on the same frequency and move like this beautiful dance can only happen when you have that connection to yourself, when you understand who you really are in any given moment, be that on stage or camera, of course, when you're presenting. So the baseline, what my clients, what I try to achieve whenever I do events, whenever I'm working with people, is I want them to understand two primary things of which are most of my focus. What does true authenticity look and feel like? And how to operate in the heart brain so we can create that deep connection, of which when you are revealing to your audience who you really are in any given moment, you are also revealing to yourself who you are. You're discovering who you are in any given moment on stage or on camera. That is a spiritual experience. And for me, a spiritual experience on stage in front of your audience, with your audience, is the holy grail of presenting. Under 5 minutes, touch and go.